Joseph Michael Valachi, an American mobster from the Genovese criminal family, was the first member of the Italian-American Mafia to officially confirm its existence in 1963. He is credited with popularizing the term Cosa Nostra. Valachi's criminal career began with the Minutemen, a tiny gang known for doing smash-and-grab burglaries and fleeing in under a minute. Valachi was the gang's driver, and his ability to make rapid getaways gained him a reputation as a rising star in New York City's criminal underworld. Valachi was arrested for grand larceny in 1921 and again in 1923 following a bungled heist. He pled guilty to attempted burglary and was sentenced to 18 months incarceration at Sing Sing, but was released after only 9 months. Valachi returned to learn he had been replaced with a new driver by the Minutemen, so he formed a new burglary gang. In 1930, Valachi was inducted as a made man into the American Mafia. He soon became a soldato in the Reina family, now known as the Lucchese family, led by Gaetano Reina. Valachi joined during the height of the Castellamarese War, a violent power struggle within Italian organized crime between the factions of Joe Masuria and Salvatore Maranzano over control of operations in the United States. Reina was assassinated after he had switched allegiances from Masuria to Maranzano. Valachi fought as part of the Reina family on the side of Maranzano, which eventually emerged victorious after Masuria's assassination on April 15, 1931. Maranzano proclaimed himself Capo di Tutti I Capi in the Italian-American Mafia, and Valachi became one of his bodyguards. That position was short-lived, as Maranzano himself was assassinated 5 months after the end of the Castellamarese War by a coalition of his subordinates, led by Charles Lucky Luciano. Valachi then became a soldier in the family headed by Luciano, eventually known as the Genovese family, and the crew headed by Anthony Tony Bender Strollo. In July 1932, Valachi married Carmela Reina, the eldest daughter of Gaetano Reina. In 1953, boss Vito Genovese allegedly ordered the murder of mobster Stephen France. Genovese had given France the task of supervising his wife Anna while he hid in Italy. Outraged over Anna's potential love affairs and her lawsuit against him, Genovese ordered Valachi to set up France's murder. On June 18, 1953, Valachi lured France to his restaurant in the Bronx, where France was strangled to death by Pasquale Pagano and Fiore Ciano. Valachi was convicted of narcotics violations in 1959 and sentenced to 15 years in prison. Valachi's motivations for becoming an informer had been the subject of some debate. Valachi claimed to be testifying as a public service and to expose a powerful criminal organization that he had blamed for ruining his life. But it is also possible he was hoping for government protection as part of a plea bargain in which he was sentenced to life imprisonment instead of death for a murder, which he had committed in 1962 while in prison for his narcotics violation. Valachi and Genovese were both serving sentences for heroin trafficking. While in prison, Valachi murdered a man whom he feared Genovese had ordered to kill him. On June 22, 1962, using a pipe left near some construction work, Valachi bludgeoned an inmate to death whom he had mistaken for Joseph Di Palermo, a mafia member whom he believed had been contracted to kill him. After time with FBI handlers, Valachi came forward with a story of Genovese giving him a kiss on the cheek, which he took as a kiss of death. Valachi claimed a $100,000 bounty had been placed for his death by Genovese. When Valachi decided to cooperate with the U.S. Justice Department, attorney William G. Hundley became his protector and later stated, "We'd put dark glasses and wigs on him and take him to the Roma restaurant. He was a hell of a guy. My days with Valachi convinced me that the Cosa Nostra was the most overrated thing since the Communist Party." In October 1963, Valachi testified before Arkansas Senator John L. McClellan's Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations of the U.S. Senate Committee on Government Operations, known as the Valachi hearings, stating that the Italian-American Mafia actually existed, the first time a member had acknowledged its existence in public. Valachi's testimony was the first major violation of omerta, breaking his blood oath. He was the first member of the Italian-American Mafia to acknowledge its existence publicly, and is credited with the popularization of the term Cosa Nostra. Although Valachi's disclosures never led directly to the prosecution of any mafia leaders, he provided many details of history of the mafia, operations and rituals, aided in the solution of several unsolved murders, and named many members and the major crime families. The trial exposed American organized crime to the world through Valachi's televised testimony. On April 3, 1971, Valachi died of a heart attack while he was serving his sentence. Valachi was buried 4 days later at the Gate of Heaven Cemetery in Lewiston, New York.